As some of you may know, I spent a week at Mouratoglou Tennis Academy. In that week, I played with some really high-level players ranging from 15 to 19 years old, some of them with ATP and WTA points. In today's video, I'm going to look at the 3 main tennis sessions where I learnt the most in my time at the academy. First up, we have my session with Eliakim Koulibaly, the current world number 636 on the ATP Tour, who is only 1 year older than me at 19 years old. In our session, we worked on specific cross-court points with and without serve. We also worked on serve and first ball, which I think is something well worth working on in your game as it's so important. This is also the session where me and him had a crazy 67 shot rally cross-court on 4-all sudden death point at the end of the session, and I'll put the full clip at the end of the video, so make sure you go and check that out. One of the main things I learned in this session was how important it is to stay relentlessly consistent. Eliakim was very good at maintaining a heavy and fast rally ball with lots of topspin, and for many shots in a row, and he would simply just not miss or break down. And this is something I want to develop in my game. I think it's a really crucial element of my game as a kind of aggressive baseliner, and that real mental toughness to go one extra ball is something that's so crucial on the futures circuit in order to win a main draw match and get your first ATP point. Session 2 was with the former junior world number 1 and current WTA number 272, Elsa, Jacques. From the first ball, you could tell she just played with a different level of intensity and had an unbelievable work rate. This really gave an energy to the session, and it forced me, I guess, as the hitting partner, to really up my intensity and really try as hard as I could to kind of keep up and give the same level of effort as her. And I think that that's one of the things I took away from that session, was how focused and intense you have to be in every session to try and achieve your goal to become a professional tennis player, because she made every second and every shot count, and that really made me think that if I want to be the best I can be and be a professional player, I also have to make every shot and every second count on court as well. And before we move on to the last session, let's take a look at the fitness testing I did at Mouratoglou. This showed me my physical strengths and weaknesses, which I think is just as valuable as seeing my on-court strengths and weaknesses. We did 6 on-court tests, so let's have a look at the results. First test was a standing jump. My result was 42.2 centimeters. You can also see the best result and the average result at Mouratoglou Academy, which gives you a sort of benchmark to rate yourself against. The second test was tapping. This is basically how many times you can tap your feet like in a movement pattern. This was actually much more tiring than it looked. I got 158 reps.
I thought it would be higher than that.
I clearly wasn't too happy with the result. Next exercise was the shuttle runs. This is basically running from side to side, mimicking a sort of tennis-specific movement. I got 6.31 seconds, which was actually only 0.6 seconds off the Mouratoglou best result, so I was pretty pleased with that. Next up, we had the 10-meter sprint. I got 1.78 seconds. I'm usually pretty quick around the court, so I was quite happy with that. We also had the plank. This was a set 3-minute plank, so as long as you hit the 3-minute mark, that's all that counts, and I obviously achieved that. And the last exercise was the throwing. I got 111 kilometers an hour on my strongest arm. So we can look at the overall analysis of my results. You can see the tapping and the CMJ were the 2 pieces of my game which I need to improve on physically, so those are going to be my main key areas of what I want to work on in 2022. And the last session of the 3 was with Claire V, who's only 15 years old and is already world number 10 for juniors. We actually had 2 sessions in this week, but I'm going to kind of merge them together because I think the takeaways were the same. We managed to have our sessions on the clay, which I loved, by the way. It's rare to get to play on a proper clay court being from the UK, so I really enjoyed it.
First impression of the court. Weird playing indoors on a clay court, but really enjoying it. Nice and cool, not overheating. It's good.
Clevy was really good at redirecting the balls and changing the direction of the ball during a cross-court rally, which I didn't do so much. And one other thing my coach, Jacques, made sure I put a specific focus on the clay court was using my legs to generate the spin and create my own pace, especially on my forehand side in the cross court. This was super valuable, as on a hard court you can absorb the ball's pace and redirect it, but on a clay court you have to generate a lot of the pace yourself. Hopefully I can get some more practice on clay a bit more in 2022 so I can work on that specific element of my game. But overall, I love my experience at Mouratoglou and had lots of great tips for my game, which I can now go and use to improve in the new year. But for those of you that have waited this long, here is the 67 shot rally you guys have been waiting for.